Hi there, welcome back to Small Bite of eCritical. Today I'm going to cover the filling in the daily GCS um, section, which, as I've mentioned in the admission form, the daily GCS is part of the SOFA severity score and is an important part of understanding the overall severity of illness for our patient population. There are not very many things in eCritical that a physician needs to document on a regular basis, and the GCS is really only one of the daily tasks that we ask of you. As I've said before, the challenge of doing a GCS by the nurses' documentation is less accurate because they will only document the GCS that they see it at the time, whether the patient's sedated or not. Now, as you can appreciate, that having a low GCS and a severity score as a result of sedation will artificially raise the severity of illness for the patient and will skew the data. So the best thing we can do is to try to be more thoughtful and accurate, and also more consistent across the province in how we calculate our daily our GCS for the SOFA score. What we ask people to do is enter in the GCS in the absence of sedation, as they would think that the patient should be. So, for example, in the case where the patient is not having daily awakenings of sedation, so you haven't examined them off of sedation, but you don't think there's any reason for the patient to be sedated or to have an abnormal GCS, because they, say, for example, have a pneumonia and don't have a head injury, then you can just estimate their GCS as best you can. And in that case, where you don't suspect a head injury or a head neurological problem, we just score them as a 15 out of 15. In the near future, we're going to actually have a button that will say that this is a estimated score, so that people know that put your scoring into context, and it will also help autofill these sections. In this test environment, what we don't have here is the GCS, daily GCS button, but between procedures and calculators, there usually is a daily GCS button that will take you directly to the GCS form. Since that is not available, I'll show you the alternative way of getting to the GCS form, and that's by using the tabs up at the top, and by clicking these arrows, I can go through all of the different MD tabs that are available to view patient information, and then click on the attending MD charting brings up this section. This view is a little different than the other views, because this is, as you can see, data driven. So wherever there is data in the system, there it'll display it for you. So a number of people have already entered in a GCS on this patient in the daily GCS form, and so there's one for 8 o'clock on the 15th of January, and another one for the February 3rd. But clearly there's a lot of documentation that needs to be done, and because I'm a nice guy, and even though this isn't my patient, I'm going to fill in a daily GCS for this guy just to help him out. You can see also that there's a little red dot here, both for the MD GCS form and the MD admission form. And the red dot means, when you look at this, that there's a deficiency that needs to be filled in. So I'm going to fill in the daily GCS for one of the dates by clicking on the daily GCS button. It brings up the daily GCS form. Now I'm going to fill in today's GCS, so see that the time and date is today, indeed, and if I wanted to change that, I just click on the previous day and it'll take it back in time, or I can go back to today. Again, as I've indicated, this is a best estimate of GCS in the absence of sedation. Patient doesn't have any problems with their neurological function, so I'm going to give them a 15 out of 15 and be done with it. Save and close the form. Takes me back to this thing. And just by forcing a refresh, can see now that I have entered in GCS of 15 out of 15 for February 6, 2013 for today. The default time for the daily GCS is 8 o'clock in the morning. And you don't need to alter the time nor worry about that, just focusing on the date.